YPF 16 LLC versus Christina Morgan and Terry Jones.
David Fanter on behalf of the plaintiff.
Christina Morgan?
Christina Morgan's present.
All right. I need a camera, ma'am, if you could.
I'm getting it on right now. Good evening, Your Honor.
Oh, there you
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay. Pardon?
Say good morning, Your Honor.
Oh, good morning to you. All right. Mr. Fantera, what's the claim in this case?
She has made a very, very significant payment, and their balance is down to $268, which is basically $80 in late fees and $188 in court costs. So her balance is exactly $268.
Get out.
Okay. So, Ms. Morgan, how are you going to get that balance that's left? How are you intending on trying to get that paid? It looks like you got everything but late fees and court costs.
Okay, so here's the thing, Your Honor. Not to be difficult this morning, but I work with a program you may know, rapid rehousing, and the situation is very sticky, and I don't know how to really go about it because the thing about it is the late fees that they're talking about that I owe is a portion that rapid rehousing was supposed to pay. Actually, my rapid rehousing case manager is on the Zoom with us right now, actually. But as far as my knowledge, from my property manager's mouth, the $80 was an application fee that was not paid, which I'm not understanding how, because the program pays the application fee. They're saying that the only one was paid, which was for me, and the other one for Terry Jones was not paid. And that's very crazy to me. But the thing about it is they're saying the application fee was $80, when in actuality that application fee was only $40, and it was paid at the time of the before we even signed the lease, or got like from when the first amount was paid. And then if they're saying that it's late fees, my property manager also told me that there's late fees that shouldn't even be charged to me because the rent was not
Ms.
late.
Ms. Morgan, hold on a minute. All right. I'm hearing you. All right. But I just want to make sure I'm catching everything. Is Miss French here with you? Is that?
Yeah, Your Honor, I'll make this easy. I'll waive the $80 if they pay the court costs.
And the court costs are how much?
And that's another thing, Your Honor.
188.
Okay.
And that's
go ahead, Ms.
thing.
Morgan.
The thing about it being with the court costs is, from the beginning, my property, who I leased from, the company, they changed from Red Shield to MTH, just like earlier someone said. But Rapid Rehousing had been paying their portion to the Red Shield account this whole time. So MTH didn't do the due diligence of looking through the system and figuring out that the account was being paid. So it really should have never went to court to begin with, honestly, is what I'm saying. Because it's literally not on me as to why, like, we were paying our portion. You feel me? I was paying my portion and Rapid Rehousing was paying their portion. MTH had access to that Red Shield account the entire time.
That is true, Your Honor.
What is true?
She came into our rapid rehousing program in December. We paid her first month's rent security deposit that was paid to Red Shield. We paid January, February, and March rent for her. And then after that, we paid 75% and she paid her portion. So her rent has been paid. They just didn't cross-check the ledgers between both companies, Red Shield and MTH, to see that we had been paying Red Shield until we got notification that we needed to pay somebody else for her rent.
Gotcha. Okay, I got it. Mr. Fantera, you know anything about that? Because I'm just saying what they're saying to me on the surface kind of makes sense, particularly if it's paid, because this complaint came in saying that she owed almost $5,200.
Right, and I'm looking at payments on April 1st of $438, and then payment on April 1st of 1317 and 1755. Were those payments made on April 1st? Or were those, I mean, what I'm hearing them saying is they were already paid and then not applied.
That's what she's saying. They were paid, but they were being paid to Red Shield. Wherever there was a switch, they didn't check that whatever account it was, they didn't get it. Because if what Ms. French is saying is true, and I don't have a reason to doubt her, I don't think she'd be here this early in the morning trying to stare at me, trying to tell me something. But if they paid it each month, somebody didn't check something, because she would have never had a $5,000 balance.
And I agree with that, but I think because I do see on the ledger that there was a $3,400 payment previously made to the owner that never got applied, but there was still a balance owing to.
That was the balance it was two different accounts. MTH had an account that they created for me when they took over, and Red Shield had an account. We only had access to pay the Red Shield account the entire time. Around the 1st of April is when I sat down with Sierra, the property manager, and she went through and made the corrections within the system and checked it and did the investigation on MTH's part. And finally, that's why you see all those payments.
Miss Morgan, no, I know you got something to tell me. It's going to be okay. This is going to be okay. This is just a matter of who's paying it. I mean, because quite frankly, based on what I'm hearing, Mr. Fantera, I'll give you the adjournment to check into it, but I'm inclined to dismiss the case, because I don't know that. I think it was paid. I think I'm not even going to call it an accounting error. It's just, it wasn't put over onto the ledger from another company. And I think what Ms. Morgan was telling me, although she was trying to tell me real forcefully because she didn't think I believe her, but I believe her.
No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. You know me. I'm kind of just aggressive. I'm sorry.
You're okay, Ms. Morgan.
I don't even want to be here this morning. I ain't been in court in over 4 years.
I'm just teasing you, Ms. Morgan. Don't even worry about it. But I think she's right that had everything happened like it should, they would have never brought her to court.
Your Honor,
and there would be no court costs.
Your Honor, I'll dismiss the case and zero out the account. Are they okay with understanding where they have to pay rent going forward?
I think so. Okay.
All right, I'll do that.
So, Miss Morgan, you win.
Thank you. Finally.
Okay. All right. Case is dismissed.
First time I heard you say that, Your Honor.
Pardon?
First time I heard you say that, case dismissed.
Oh, no. I do it all the time. Don't even try it.
I'm saying to me, not to me specifically.
To you. Okay. Case is dismissed. Both you and Ms. French have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You too, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. 103 South Huron versus Mario Man.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Fantera on behalf of the plaintiff.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay, there you are. All right. What's plaintiff's claim?
In this case, there's rent owing in the amount, including court costs, of $2,649.17.
All right. And Mr. Mann.
Yes, sir.
How are you intending on getting that paid?
I have an appointment with the Hawk Agency on the 22nd. And
on the 22nd.
Yes, sir. And I've applied also through MI Bridges.
Gotcha. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let that appointment on the 22nd happen. I'm going to adjourn your case out April 25th, 2025, 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing, so you got to come down to the courthouse, and we'll see where you are with Hawk and everything, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You do the same. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Sycamore Meadows versus Denisha McCoy.
Again, Carrie Zandon on behalf of plaintiff. Judge, I would ask for the May 16th date on this one as well.
Ms. McCoy, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm at work. I'm here.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
He has applied for assistance as well.
You've applied for assistance, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that they can get all the information to SOS or Hawk. I'm gonna adjourn this out to May 16th, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Okay, I had something to say though about the maintenance repairs. I haven't had hot water in almost a month and I've been putting in repairs and legal aid putting in repairs as well.
I have a new phone number for protocol.
Okay, hold on. There's a new phone number for you to call regarding that, okay? Council's trying to
Okay,
get
'cause
that
I
to
would
me.
have thought that they would have sent out notices.
Okay, hold
with
on,
any
just hold on,
information.
hold on. Yeah,
734-642-2721.
Okay.
2721.
Yes.
All right. So ma'am, did you get that?
Yes,
Okay,
I got it.
734-642-2721. Okay?
All
Give
right.
them a call and let them know, okay?
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
do the same, Judge.
Thank you.
I'll do
Uh-huh.
the same, too.
And council's gonna also let them know, okay?
Okay.
What can I do so on your order today?
Thank you. Court recalls the case of paid Park at Sagebrush versus Marissa Escobedo and Christopher Knock.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Gabriel Lacy, 79685 for plaintiff.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Gail Rosen on behalf of Ms. Escobedo.
All right.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, sometimes it's all I have. All right. What are we doing?
So I do believe we have come to an agreement where we're going to enter a conditional order of dismissal or consent order for conditional dismissal.
All right.
Where the defendant will pay a total amount of $332 on or before April 23rd, 2025. And that number comes from $100 in outstanding rent. She did submit a significant check yesterday.
Okay.
$232 in court costs, leaving a total balance of $332. And that
Okay.
she'll pay on or before April 23rd, 2025. And then the defendant's lease is up April 30th. However, she has indicated that she may need to stay at least until the children are out of the school year, which is the end of June. My client has offered to waive the $400 month-to-month fee and allow her to stay until June 30th if she pays the rent timely. However, the conditional dismissal will be written if the defendant chooses to stay beyond April 30th. The $400 month-to-month fee will be waived for May and June, and the defendant shall give a 30 days notice upon vacating, before vacating.
Okay, so if she stays to the end of June, she's got it by May 31st, basically give you notice that she's staying in June.
Correct.
And if she doesn't pay her rent timely?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
If she doesn't pay her rent timely, immediate writ to issue, and we are waiving the 56-day rule.
All right. Is this Mrs. Escobedo?
It is, yes.
Come on up, it's your case. Your name, ma'am? All right, did you understand the terms that were stated? You need to take the names out of your.
Sorry.
It's okay. You understood the terms? Okay. And I know that you have counsel, and I think. Ms. Rosen, is that the full terms of the conditional order dismissal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and she has indicated that she understands all of that, is clear with that. All right, I take it you guys don't have that right now, right?
Working on it.
Okay, so once I have it, I'll mark the file conditionally ordered dismissed, since both counsel are represented by counsel. I'll sign off when I receive it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Willow Ridge Apartments versus Maya Hines.
Hello, Your Honor.
Oh, there's Ms. Hines. Okay, and where are we on this case?
Your Honor, there's currently a balance on this one of $5,617 total. That includes costs, Your Honor, 5617.
Ms. Hines, how were you intending on trying to get that paid?
So I did have a Hawk appointment yesterday, and they said that they will be able to pay the $3,000. So my remaining balance will be like $2,100, including next month's rent. I did get cleared from my doctor today to go back to work, so I go back to work today. So I was trying to see if we can work a payment plan out for that $2,100.
Do you know if your client's open to that, counsel, or no?
I don't know. I mean, how much is she getting from Hawk?
She
$3,000.
would be getting the 3,000, but there'd have to be something worked out regarding the additional balance prior to that 3,000 being paid.
And it would leave a balance of 2,600 based on my client's.
Right,
So,
basically about 2,600.
Your Honor, let's do this, because when are you gonna find out from Hawk, Ms. Hines?
I'm sorry.
Aaron, do you have?
Did they confirm the payment? That they're
Yes, they
paying it?
said that they'll pay it, but they want to see something in writing that you guys will let me work out a payment plan to pay the rest. Since
Well-
I'm just not being able to go back to work.
When could you pay the remaining balance by? Because what's gonna happen is in 2 weeks, we're back into May.
Right. So I go back to work today. So we just started a new pay period this week. So I will have a check on the 3rd, and then I can probably pay 1,800 on the 10th. I think that's the.
I'll give till the 10th, Your Honor, on a consent. And have we confirmed the Hawk payment?
Well, that won't. Is that going to be the full amount though?
It's the
I mean, I understand what you're
2,600.
doing.
She said she'll pay on the 3rd and pay on the 10th, correct?
Yes.
And
So how much on the 3rd?
I can pay 1,000 on the 3rd, and then on the 10th, probably another 1,000.
So about, yeah, that's what I thought she kind of indicated. So it's gonna be short.
So 17th, are you gonna get another check on the 17th, Ms. Hines?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Your Honor, I'll go out to the 17th. This will at least trigger that Hawk payment.
Okay.
And then, she's gonna have to work out with my client, making sure that she catches up, because we'll be far into May at that point.
All right. So what I'll do, ma'am, is I'll enter judgment for possession for that total amount of $5,617 with, and I'm doing that by no tribal issue after hearing, with a writ to issue May 17th or thereafter.
And
Okay?
Your Honor, I'm not gonna include any of those payments as long as the payment's made in full by the 17th, then we're good. I'm not gonna create trigger.
Okay. That'd be fine. Okay, so you just got to make sure you get that money in and get it arranged with Hawk to make that payment. Okay, ma'am?
Okay, I will.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend and happy Easter.
And to you. Six Trails versus Jillian Fox.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sidney Katz again.
Hello.
Good afternoon,
What's your name?
Jillian Fox.
All right. Where are we on this case?
Your Honor, this is second hearing. There's currently a balance of 2,752, 2,752. That amount includes costs.
All right.
I am working with Hawk. I had my first appointment yesterday with them. I have a follow-up appointment, I believe, this upcoming Wednesday with them, and I do believe that they will be covering that amount, and I will have next month's on
So
time.
you had the initial with Hawk and you've got something coming up this Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
All right. Given that, and that's under the 3,000, I'm going to adjourn this out to the 25th, 2025 at 2 p.m.
All right.
Let's see what comes out. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now you're done with me. Thank you.
Now I'm done with you. I guess I am.
All right.
Have a great
good
weekend, sir. Carl Staffield versus Chloe Peak.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Audrey Lee. I'm a student attorney with the Michigan Clinical Law Program with a partner, Ellie Sawyer. And I'd like to request permission to represent the defendant, Miss Chloe Peak, pursuant to MCR 8.120 under the supervision of Attorney David Santa Croce.
You know, I wouldn't have known they were student attorneys and all those M's started appearing on my screen. All right, anyway, the wrong M, but that's okay. Permission to practice is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead.
So we last saw you over a month ago, and we settled a case not too long after that. So we filed a stipulated dismissal on March 20th, which we believed covered all the claims and counterclaims. And then since this was still on the docket, we filed an amended stipulated dismissal this morning just to clarify that the counterclaims were dismissed as well as the
Got it.
claim.
Okay. And I think that's what was missing for us. All right. And I do have that, and I will sign off. This case is dismissed.
So,
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Your Honor, just a point of clarification, so I don't make the same mistake again. The form, the stipulated part of the form there says to all claims. So in the past, we've just filed that and that dismisses everything. The amended one, we wrote counterclaims in there. It sounds like maybe that's the best course going forward.
Going forward, it's probably the best thing to put in counterclaims just so that everybody's clear. Because what we've had is we've had the dismissal come in, but then somebody comes along and says, no, we're not dismissing our counterclaims. And then
Fair
I
enough.
gotta litigate it and do whatever.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
All right. Yes, everybody have a great weekend. Good job, guys.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court calls the case. Arbor House Apartments versus Jasmine Branch.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Maxfield Muda on behalf of plaintiff.
Jasmine Branch. Anybody representing them? No response. Where are we on this? Did you wish to take a default, counsel?
That is correct, Your Honor. At this time, plaintiff requests the entry of a default judgment. We've got.
Why don't you raise your hand? Raise your hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
So we've got a rent to retain possession on this one in the amount of $7,341.24. Court costs in the amount of $180, giving us our grand total $7,521.24. We've got a writ date on this one of April 28th, 2025.
Correct. And counsel, I just want to make sure, given the last figures the 2,000 from the court had been received. Because it went down about 2. All right, very good. Judgment to the plaintiff, that is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested with a writ to issue in 10 days. And I'll sign the judgment upon its presentation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. Carla Green versus Dustin Mickles. Yes, there's Carla Green, Dustin Mickles, and Antoinette Mickles. State your names.
Carla Green, Antoinette.
Dustin. All right. All right. Where are we on this, folks? Because
I filed the proper paperwork.
well, I don't know that you did. Okay, so here's the problem. I don't think that I have subject matter jurisdiction over the case, and let me just explain it so everybody knows what I'm talking about. In order for the court to obtain subject matter jurisdiction over the case, I have to have a proper notice to quit. When we were here, and I kind of explained it the last time that we were here. When we were here the last time, you were indicating to me that you gave them a notice to quit on the case. I didn't have it in my file. And I kept asking you, well, when did you serve it on them? Because I think they were saying they hadn't gotten a notice to quit. So I said that I had to have the one that has the proof of service on it. And I adjourned it out to give you an opportunity to correct that. Because if it had been served, it was. So you filed with the court a notice to quit. And importantly, on the notice to quit that you filed, it says that they had to move by February 28th, 2025. And that you served it on them March, as I'm looking at it here, March 10th, 2025. Is what it looks like to me. And it says it's served by first class mail. Assuming this document to be true, I don't have jurisdiction over the case. And in fact, I'll just say this, this document, if that's the March 10th date, it can't be, because you can't can't tell someone they have to move by the 28th of February and not give them notice that they have to move until March 10th. The only way that this notice, as it is signed by you, can make sense is if it were served on them on March 10th, they would have until April 11th or April 10th in which to move. So when I look at the face of the documents, this notice is invalid. With the dates that are on here, it can't be true.
Additionally, went with that notice to quit, had this file, had the police officer do it the correct way, because that's what I was told to do from this court. The notice to quit. You said that I had to show proper paperwork of me serving them the correct way. So the first time I served them was January.
And we went through this the last time. You gave me, and when you were talking about the police officer serving, that's the service of the summons and complaint. That I don't necessarily, as I'm looking at it, have a problem with, that they would have received a summons and complaint from the court. They would have had an officer or somebody show up to serve that. That I'm not having the issue with, and that's what I was trying to explain at the last year. Because the document you handed me, that you were talking about that. What I told you was the notice to quit. I didn't have a copy of when it was served on them. Gave you the opportunity, you said you did, I gave you the opportunity to correct it. I'm not sure what date it was received, but the document that we received that was received by the court is a notice to quit to recover possession of the property. I will say two things about that. First of all, it doesn't match. The top portion of that notice to quit does not match what I have in the file, which leads me to believe that it's not the document that was served on them if it was served. Then even aside from all of that, and so in reality, it's not a valid notice to quit. But even aside from all of that, if I were to say, give me the benefit of the doubt, I'll just look at it, I'll take the dates. You can't give somebody a 30-day notice, tell them to move by February 28th, and not tell them until March 10th.
Your Honor, I think it's a misunderstanding. I served them a notice to quit on February 28th because I'm following all the court steps. She said, first of all, you have to file a notice to quit yourself. And then if they don't move, you come to court, you file this paperwork, and then you come to court. So I served them, correct?
No, you don't get the question. What are you saying? You have to give me a proper service here. And I don't have it. I don't know what that notice to quit. You keep saying that you gave them one. I don't know what it says. Because your two notices to quit are different. The one that you gave me just recently is different than what was attached. The top portion is different than what was attached to the complaint that was filed. One is typed, the other is handwritten. It says move by the 28th, but the way it works on a 30-day, I tell you, if I were to give somebody right now a 30-day notice today, the 18th, I would say, if I serve it on somebody today, April, just don't interrupt me. April 18th, I would give them until May 18th to move.
Correct.
Your notice, on the other hand, says you have to move by February 28th, but I don't tell you that until March 10th.
That's the second.
Can't work that.
That's the second notice, Your Honor. The first notice, they told me to serve it. You have to have a 30-day notice to quit. I served them the 30-day notice to quit, January the 28th. So they had till February the 28th to move.
Then why don't I have a proof of service that it was given to them on January 28th? I don't have that. I told you to come back, and usually I wouldn't do it. Usually I would have kicked this case the last time. You kept telling me that you had it. I see a notice. I don't have the proof of service on the notice to quit. I gave you an opportunity to correct. What I got
Your Honor,
is an impossibility.
Your Honor, what you got is what the court told me to do. They said file a 30-day.
You're not going to blame the court. The court didn't tell you to do this, because I think this is a falsified document if you want to really get down to it. Because the notice to quit that I have in the file is typed. The notice to quit that you gave me is handwritten. It can't be the same. I don't want to accuse you of providing false documents to the court, but that's certainly what it looks like. And secondly, the date, as I indicated, and I will say, you can smile at me all you want, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I think you filed a false document, you're going to get a show cause, and you're not going to like what happens. Am I clear? The document that you gave me is a factual impossibility. You cannot tell somebody to move February 28th and serve them on March 10th. It can't happen that way, because you're telling them to move after the time that you told them to move. You can't do it. That's what's in this file. So giving you an opportunity to do that, I've given you an opportunity to correct it. You failed to correct it. I will state on the record, I think you've provided to the court a false document. This court lacks subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to the cases decided by Michigan Supreme Court. I don't have jurisdiction over this case. The only thing that I can do is dismiss it. This case is dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Thank you. What'd you say? Ma'am, you better bring her back here. Bring her back here, Alan.
Your Honor,
Yeah, go back there someplace, because when she comes back in here, it is gonna be a mess.
Okay.
Don't go out into the hall yet. Call security down. Jeff Lewis versus Michelle Kresnick.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. State your name.
Jeffrey Lewis, LAWIS.
Julie Lewis.
All right. And what are we doing here today on this case, folks?
Well, this was adjourned from last week. We did the 30-day notice to quit. We had a hearing last week. It was adjourned till today, and she was to pay rent, which she didn't. And she was also going to try to get rent assistance, which I don't have any record of her trying to get rent assistance. So today we're asking for possession and payment.
Okay, hold on one moment. Amy, did Ellen. Amy, do you know whether or not Ms. Krasnick has applied for assistance?
I don't have any.
You don't have any? Okay. Okay, so who wants to take the proofs? Whoever wants to raise their right hand to be sworn.
I'll take it, Your Honor.
All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name again for the record.
I'm sorry, do you know the difference?
Is she in Zoom?
Yes.
She is. Okay. My apologies. Ms. Krasnick?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're here. And last hearing, there was $5,377.15 that was owed. Is that right? Mr. Lewis?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And ma'am, how were you intending on trying to get that paid?
So I did apply for assistance, and I did send the document to the court email, the 14A.
I see it.
Okay.
So that may entitle you to another week, but who did you apply to Hawk for assistance?
I thought I had to apply to the DHS first.
Okay. All right. Well, you don't have to.
Oh.
Did you call 961-1999, that phone number?
No, I did not.
Oh,
because I called DHS and they told me what I needed to do to fill out. And so
okay.
that's what I did.
So we got her. She thought she had to go to DHS, did not call Hawk. I think you were probably waiting for a response from DHS before you called Hawk. She doesn't have to do that. But for whatever we get that occasionally, that there's a misunderstanding as to that. But
okay,
ma'am, how many people are in your house?
3.
3. Okay, so that you know, if you have 3 people in your house, that's only going to get you about $620.
I understand. I'm also
okay.
I'm also waiting for my tax return, which is taking way longer than expected. But I had a question because when they served me the original document, they just wanted possession, but my lease doesn't end until July. So even if I paid the amount, they still said they want possession back.
I have this as a termination case.
Right.
And you're right. Let me just see here. What's the basis of your termination?
Your Honor, we have multiple lease violations, and from the very beginning, she became a tenant in May of 2024 without our knowledge. We didn't even discover it until January of this year when her male friend moved out and left her behind. She was basically a squatter. So we had 2 choices at that point: try to evict her in January or try to work something out. So we tried to work something out with her.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you want her under that theory to leave the premises, or do you want her to catch up rent?
Well, honestly, if she paid her rent and followed the lease, she probably could stay there till July. But the thing is, that she's so far in the hole now. She never paid her security deposit. She's $5,300 in the hole, and then come May 1st, she'll be over $7,500 in the hole, and she hasn't paid rent since the 1st of February.
What happened?
Pardon me?
Hang on a second. Bring a person back? Okay. All right. So I just need to know whether or not she could stay or you're seeking to terminate. Because if you're seeking to terminate, I don't know that she's going to be able to get assistance through Hawk.
Okay. I want to terminate right now. Just terminate.
All right.
Yeah.
And ma'am, you're claiming that you have a lease. Ms. Krasnick?
That's correct.
Okay, if she's not supposed to be there, I have a lease that has her name on it.
Yes, that was the lease that we created for her in January once we discovered she was in the house. She'd been there since May of 2024.
Okay, but then she signed the lease.
Yes, in January of 25.
So, well, I have December 18th.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's correct.
So, okay, so the problem here is going to be the notice. Mr. Lewis, because your notice indicates that you want possession of the premises, but the box also that's checked is the box which indicates that she's what's called a tenant at will or by sufferance, which means that she doesn't have a lease.
Yeah. Okay.
And she has a lease. And
okay. And Your Honor, which form is that on? Because we went through this with the
that's on I'm just discussing notices to quit all over the place here.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Let's see which one.
I didn't see this, yeah. On that notice to quit that was filed with the court,
Okay,
that notice to quit, it says you check the first box.
yeah, delivering, yeah, personally, yeah,
and
personally in
then-
possession, yeah.
Right, and then you said you wanted possession. The first box indicates that she's basically a tenant at will or a month-to-month tenant, commonly known as, but she's not.
Right. So what?
And the second portion where you wrote on there, where it says wants possession of the property, that would not be available as a remedy to terminate her lease.
So which box would I have checked in the future when I go to check?
Well, I can't give you
yeah.
legal advice, but
Yeah.
but the way it reads at this point can I have my phone? Sure. The way the notice reads, the notice to her reads is that she's a month-to-month tenant and that you want possession.
Right.
That's not the case here because you signed the lease.
Sure.
She has a lease. So that's where we are. If you wanted to proceed by termination, I'd have to grant the judgment in her favor because I don't have a proper notice.
Okay. So what do we do now to get her to pay the $5,300?
Well, what I'm going to suggest that you do, if she pays and you're going to allow her to stay, because obviously she's got a lease, that she continue her efforts to try to get assistance and that you kind of work with her to get that done. So, but the fact that you're at the
$5,377.
Right. So the fact that you're there, if she were even to get assistance from Hawk outside of DHHS, you still, ma'am, would have to come up with about $2,400
Yes, I understand.
to get the 3,000 paid.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
What was your plan on trying to do that, ma'am?
So, like I said, I'm still waiting on my tax return, which is taken. I don't.
Gotcha. But you did say that.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to have to
here's
what I'm going to suggest that you do. Okay. What I'm going to suggest you do is work through that. I'm going to have to dismiss this case because I can't, in the form that it's in, I can't terminate her tenancy. So I'd have to dismiss the case. I'm going to suggest to you, ma'am, that you continue to work through with DHHS and Hawk to try to get that payment in. I understand waiting on tax returns, but then get that to the Lewises to get everything caught up.
yes, I understand.
Okay.
Or we start again and then just.
Right, you'd start again, but you'd have to do it really as a non-payment case.
Right.
And the violations of the lease, right?
Whatever
She has a
those,
lease.
I don't know what those violations are, so yeah, I mean, you'd have to list them out. She'd have to be placed on notice of that.
Sure.
But, okay, so at this point, I'm gonna have to dismiss the case.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, we'll start again. All right, thank you, Aaron.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Happy Easter. to you.
All right, and to you. Town Center Place versus Marshall Parsons. That matter is dismissed on plaintiff's motion without prejudice.
Sorry to interrupt. Your Honor, are we allowed to leave you?
I'm not clear what's going on out there.
Okay.
All right, so if you just sit tight, he was trying to explain something to me. I was trying to finish up that case and do we know?
We do now, sorry. Would you like me to?
Well, no, because I don't know what's going on out there. All right, you two, since you're the one that caused my troubles. No, I'm kidding. You two sit right there until we tell you to leave. All right? So that'd be simple. The rest of the people here are probably for my next block, which I'm just going to let you know right now is going to be a bit delayed, but I will get it called. And I'm going to step off the bench and try to figure out exactly what's going on. Okay? Thank you, folks. Court's gonna stand in recess. Okay, you two. She's out of the building and clear. You can go. All right.
Thank you.
Just give us a heads up when you're gonna grace my doorstep again, all right? You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Court does call the case of Scioto Farm Services, Tiffany Copeland.
Good afternoon. Brianna Kingsley appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
I don't know how good it is. I gotta stop complaining, don't I? Come on now. Hello, what's your name?
Tiffany Copeland.
All right, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, today's the date and time scheduled for defendant's motion to set aside the default judgment, so I will let her make her argument to the court.
Go ahead.
Okay, so like I said before, I got a call about a water leak, so it made my rent slash payment extremely high. It was like $1,900 for December and January, I believe. So they shut the water off in December. They said it was a leak, and I contacted a couple companies to come out, and they did the repiping for me. And so on top of that, so it was a leak on my end, also a leak on Scioto Farms end. Also, the water meter was cracked. So that's what I was trying to question, like, is that could be a reason why the bill was so high? You know, could that have been part of it? The water meter being cracked as well, not working properly. So anyways, I got the piping redone. And so they kept telling me I needed to put some more heating tape on there. So I paid another, so the reason,
But
company
ma'am,
that came out-
let me ask you this. On April 1st, why weren't you here?
you know what, I didn't get a letter in the mail in time to say what time to come, and I have been waiting for this to come along. And yeah, I don't know, the letter didn't come in time with the time to show up, so I missed it. But I came after the fact once because there was another lawyer I was talking to, and he was like, well, why weren't you there? I'm like, what are you talking about? So anyways, I flew here. I tried to get in to still, talk about it, but I couldn't. So that's why I went ahead and put another, more money down again to proceed with the process.
What does plaintiff have as owing?
So she has filed 2 prior motions. In the second motion she filed, she deposited $59.15 into escrow. That was released to my client. It's been posted to her account. And then she posted another $1,000, I believe, into escrow with this. So by my calculations, she would owe $1,561.95 left. The judgment was for $84.11.95.
So she owes $1,597.
$1,561.97.
$1,561.97.
95. Sorry.
Okay. So about $1,562. All right. Ma'am, so when I went through everything, so 2 things that you have to show in order for me to set aside the default judgment. One is that there is a valid reason for your failure to appear. And I frankly am not hearing that. But aside from that, I then have to hear a meritorious defense to plaintiff's claims. We went through this in summary before, but I set it for trial. And that is that the water leak was not on Scioto's side, but was on your side.
It's on both sides.
Okay.
I
But
have a video.
okay. But what I'm getting at is I gave you an opportunity to bring that before the court. They had their folks here. Everybody was ready to go. You weren't here. I don't really have a valid reason for your failure to appear. Okay. So in essence, I would have to deny your motion to set aside the default judgment.
Can I say?
So go ahead.
Okay. So the only thing is so when I did it for the $1,000 this time, I did send emails, proof from Z Plumbers stating what was going on with this whole thing. So they can't even move forward on getting it 100% right because there's pieces missing on Sile Farms. So that's why another reason why I was putting things on escrow to be held so that things could be fixed properly because I spent almost $10,000 on repairs. So I don't want it to be redamaged by not having everything done properly. So everything's done on my end. I had 2 companies that verified that it's some things on Sile Farms end that they need to continue to fix in order for things to run right. So I don't even want the water to run until I know. I don't never want to see a bill like that again.
Have you sent that information to Sile?
Yeah, matter of fact, I came in there and talked with them and we talked to, what is it called? She was there. I talked to them. Sorry, I talked to her.
My manager's here.
Okay, all right.
So I came in after that day, I came to put the $1,000, I went straight to Sile Farms. And that's how I was getting more information. They was like, oh, they sent me a picture saying this needs to be repaired, but it's something that they still need to fix in order for the heating pipes, the heating tape to get put on there properly. So no more damages goes on. But they said they don't have that part, it's on back order. So I have to continue to wait.
That Sile doesn't have the part?
Yeah, so I have to continue to wait. So that's the only reason I was putting stuff on escrow to hold off to trying to get things done, properly so we can just be done with this. So I thought when you put it on escrow, it's supposed to hold things off until things are fixed properly, basically. Because like I said, I don't never want to see a bill of a water bill of $900 and a sewer bill of $900 again.
Hence why I'm on a well and septic. So, all right, I hear you. Let me ask you this. So is it correct that Sile is waiting on a part?
Yes, I believe the part's already been ordered.
Yeah, parts have been ordered and we do have outside contractors on site at the property this week and next week, working on system-wide water meters.
There was a part on the water, so the water meter cracked. There was a part on the water meter that she's referring to that was backordered.
That needs to be,
Yes.
that's backordered, that needs to be put on.
Yes.
And all
Which
she
it sounds-
wants it done is she wants it put on and be done with this. Okay.
That's
so
what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Because like I said,
probably a wise move.
yeah, and I didn't know it was so wide like that. I thought it was just my place, but I started to find out more that it was other people complaining about their water meter as well.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. I'm not going to set aside the judgment in the case. All right. But the 1562 basically, or 1561.95. When can that be paid? So, because here's what I wanted. Let me just explain to you what I wanted.
Okay.
I'm not going to set aside the judgment, but I also don't want to place you in a position where you're evicted. You paid the money. There, it looks like everybody's parts are going to be repaired and there will be water. So
no one can really stay there until, this is complete.
I know, but they're having people come out.
But it's been a long time. This has been since December. So that's the only thing for me.
So what do you want me to do, man?
I'm not sure. I'm just saying what's going on.
I know, you're not sure. And you want to yell at me. That's okay.
I don't want to yell at nobody. I want pieces Friday.
I know.
I'm just trying.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to. What I'm trying to get to is a point that it's paid, it gets fixed, and then there can be water.
Yeah.
Okay, and that you're not evicted from the premises because you put money into it and the like. I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just not sure that it's going to be fixed. That's really what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
okay.
It's been a long time coming here.
I know. Okay. So the 1562 or 1561.95. Do you have that?
I do.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. They're coming. When are they coming out? Did you say?
This week or next week? Next week?
Yeah, they'll be out back again on Monday.
On Monday. Okay.
I'll make sure our contractors.
Will, okay, so is it the type of repair that they're gonna be able to do that day?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a certain
It's just a
style
plate.
of freeze plate.
Yeah, it's the freeze plate.
We couldn't get from the community the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna adjourn this to April 25th, 2025 at
3 p.m.
at 3 p.m. I'm gonna order that you put the 1561.95 into court escrow.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
I'll hold that there. Once we're sure the repair's done, water's back on, then I'll release it, but then everything's done.
Okay.
Is that fair enough?
Yes.
Will you stop yelling at me?
Yeah.
All right? After a few cases a day, I'm a bit sensitive. All right? Okay.
Judge, can I just make a brief statement for the record?
Oh, boy, here we go. All right, Kingsley. Oh, what do you want
Thank
to
you.
tell me? I thought I did a miracle job in resolving the whole thing, but now she's just gonna go ahead.
Judge, I just have to protect my client's interests at the end of the day,
It's
so.
protect-
I would just like to note that for the record, I was present on April 1st. I had 4 witnesses here. Ms. Copeland appeared 5.5 hours late. That's all I'd like to state.
Well,
I knew that though. Didn't I know that? Didn't I? Yeah. Don't you start saying.
okay, okay.
All right, but now we're past that. And now
Understood.
the money's going into escrow. They're gonna get that part fixed. There'll be water and everybody will be happy.
Thank you.
Understood.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.
Okay.
See, make sure that everything's.
Thank you.
Do
All
you want
right.
us back in person next week?
How's she gonna know that the repair's been done and the water's back on?
Just
Are they gonna, you're gonna talk to them?
They.
Okay, so here's the way I look at it. If that's all done, then I don't need everybody back in person.
Okay.
I would then, once I get notification that that's the case, I'll release escrow.
Okay.
That's it. Okay?
Okay. Do you want my office to contact the court and let you know?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
Let us know that it's been done and the water's back on.
Okay, I can email,
Pardon?
I can just send an email to Ann.
Absolutely.
Oh.
If you send it to me, I probably won't read it. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, folks. Everybody have a.
Do
great
I need to
weekend.
draft an order or are you gonna issue one on your own?
We'll
Okay.
take care of it.
Thank you.
You'll be okay. Kingsley, geez, oh, geez. I'm just trying to make it through another day, okay? Court calls the case, Iowa Fires versus Paul Dest.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Paul Dest?
And I believe Leah.
Oh,
Dest
I'm
is-
sorry, and Lee Dest and Paul Dest. Twice. Okay,
Thank you.
okay, who do I have here? Bye. Yes, ma'am. All right, your name? Paul. All right.
So I have an update for you on this one. They've submitted the payment. We're just waiting for the checks to clear. So could we just adjourn this 1 week and?
Oh, great. That's all right with you folks?
One week. I'm a little confused about the checks to clear.
We're waiting for the checks to clear.
How long do they take?
When did you give them the check?
They submitted 2. They
Gave
submitted
them one
one
today, gave them one
earlier this week.
Wednesday. Sometimes they take a month to clear, so I'm just curious. Yeah.
Are you good with 1
Yeah,
week?
it depends on how quickly they get to the main office. They've already been both overnight. The one should have already appeared at the main office and.
They had- Okay, so they go here, then they go to the main office and the main
Well,
office.
it's just
is about-
the type of check that it is. It has to go to the main office to be posted. That's what it is.
I'm just gonna have to take more time off work to come back.
No, just.
If we gotta come back.
Calm down, calm down. I'll work through that part, okay? Just tell me what your issue is. I'll do my best to work.
All right.
Okay, you need to take your hands out of your pockets because that gets him upset and then that whole thing.
Oh, that-
Okay, we don't want that. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna adjourn it out a week, the 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. I really don't necessarily need you here. Okay, one of the two of you can appear via Zoom.
Oh.
Okay. And it's just a matter of the checks clear. That's all we're looking at.
So if it's not clear in a week, then where are we at? I just would like to know, I mean, it's just a question.
Well, that's a bit difficult to answer, only because if it doesn't clear because the bank is kind of they got it, but on a hold, that's one thing. If it doesn't clear because the funds aren't there, that's a whole different thing.
The funds are there.
Okay, I know, sir. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to
I
do?
just want to answer what a reasonable amount of time is to cash a check.
I don't know, because it's different things. If you were listening, what they just explained is it came into their office because of the type of check it is, they have to send it to the main office. I'm not in charge of those folks as to when they deposit.
Right.
The best that I can do is set it out a week. You've told me about your work issue. I will allow either one of you to appear via Zoom so that we can just get it straight. That's the best I can do. April 25th, 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Fill out a Zoom form so that I don't have to go through this, please.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Sile Farms versus Teresa Tomasi.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Tomasi? She said.
I'm here.
Oh, yep. We
Okay.
saw you for a minute. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. I had the last time we were here, 344320 owing.
Yeah.
And your SER was declined. Says that you were working with SOS.
Yeah.
Okay. You have any news on that?
Well, I've called for 3 days in a row to the lawyer's office for them to mail the paperwork over, and they haven't emailed it over or called me back.
So she applied for rental assistance through Hawk. All the documents already been provided to Hawk.
To Hawk.
To Hawk.
Do you mind
they,
if
they were provided via me on a text on an email yesterday after 3 days of them not responding. It was not given by the lawyer to Hawk. It was done by me alone. And it was so for the last 3 days, and they still haven't returned my phone call. So sitting here 3 days ago, you guys didn't return my phone call of whether or not you emailed it. And I don't even think that they replied to the people in the neighborhood here. Long story short, SOS has granted me $3,000 for the rent. Thankfully that I gave them the paperwork for yesterday.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Do you mind if my court liaison officer provides information to the court regarding the status of where things are?
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with that?
Okay.
Okay. Amy?
Your Honor, working with Alicia, there's a copay, so that portion about the 3,000 needs to be satisfied first before
They pay that. Okay. All right. Did you hear that, ma'am?
Yeah, I've got the money order here. Yeah, I've got the award letter from SOS this morning for the 3,000. I've got the money order here for the 442.
Okay, why don't you pay that to the landlord?
Okay.
And then let me adjourn it out a week and see exactly where we are on everything. Okay?
Yeah, and I'll vouch for the water. My poor neighbor hasn't, he literally would wash the laundry once a week because his bills was $300. So it is not just that lady. FYI. So
I'm just
not
gonna-
my either, but my poor
okay,
neighbor
well,
literally doesn't do his laundry every 3 weeks. So, all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing. April 25th.
Yeah, 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. I'm gonna get up and walk out. I'm just gonna leave. If I do, folks, you'll just have to understand, and then I'll come back. Arbor Woods versus Kyle Casey.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Hello, your name?
Kyle Casey.
All right, and I had 1857.50 owing.
He dropped off a payment of $820, so I have $1,049.90.
1,000. I'm sorry.
$1049.90.
10:40. All right. How are we gonna get that paid?
I was actually gonna ask you if I could have like a couple months' time, not for the money, but my wife is undergoing a lot of surgeries. Over the past couple months, she's got some things going on with her spinal leak, and she's actually having another one Monday. So I've been forced to take work off more than I normally would. I have a single income household. I have a small child, and I look after both of them. I pay everything. So lately, I've been not working as many hours as I normally do. My checks are smaller, so I've been slowly but surely falling behind. This is no problem for me to pay. I don't need any assistance. I don't need anything. I have no problem paying it. I just don't want them to, I want to pay them separately. Like they gave me a lease since our last hearing, which I'm very happy with. I would like to, if you would allow, to continue paying the lease and this separately so that I don't get late fees each month for not paying this in full with because they're putting this on my.
No, I got you.
You get what I'm saying? And as well as like the court costs, that's on my monthly lease.
Okay.
So the same thing.
Just listen, you got a lot going on.
I do.
Okay, let's see if we can work it through for you, okay? It'll help you out a bit. So when's the next time you can make a payment to the landlord?
Well, I gotta pay this month.
Pardon?
I have to pay my rent's coming up again.
No, I know.
So I can make
Hold
a
on,
payment,
just hold.
next Friday.
Hold on, just listen.
Next Friday.
Just kind of answer my question and let's see what we can work through for you, okay? And you got a lot that's burdening you right now. Let's see if we can try to, all right? So just, when's the next time you can make a payment?
Either today or next Friday.
Okay, and how much can you make?
If it's today, I can give them like 200.
Okay, so next Friday, how much can you pay?
I'm not sure. It's gonna depend on how big my check is because I've.
Okay, all right. Ballpark it for me.
I'd like to do none and wait for the next.
Pardon?
I'd like to not make a payment towards that and save that for my next rent payment, if possible.
I need you to work with me and just listen to me, okay?
Yes.
All right. So I'm not gonna worry right now about May. Okay?
About May?
About your May rent.
Oh, okay.
How much can you pay with your next check?
500.
500? Okay, do you think you can pay 500 by next Friday?
I'll pay 500 today.
Okay.
Instead of, if I can do it aside next Friday.
Hold on. Just work with me. I've been doing this a minute, okay? So I get it. So here's what I'm gonna do. Pay 500 today on this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjourn this out a week to the 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. If you need to appear via Zoom so that you don't miss work, then we got a form you can fill out and I'll let you appear via Zoom. On that day, here's what I may do. I may issue a judgment for what's left. So if you have extra money, put it toward it. I may issue a judgment at that time for the amount. But what that does is that cuts it off and then you can work toward what you're going to do in May. Okay? It's the same thing that you were saying, but sort of from the reverse. Okay? So I'll do that. I'll adjourn it out to 3 p.m. on that day. We'll see exactly where you are. You should be somewhere around 600 that's owing. So we'll work with that 600, figure out how you're going to get that paid. Okay?
Okay.
I did ask my client if they would be willing to waive the month-to-month fees in light of the lease issue. So I'm just waiting to hear back.
I was gonna ask.
So let me just, how much is the month-to-month fee?
$37. So he was charged 6 months for $37 for a month-to-month premium.
Got it.
So his lease
that
expired in
might
October. Yeah. I asked them if they would,
37, 350, 400.
I asked them if they would. I haven't heard back. So that's their decision. But
I also have a question. I don't know if you can spread like my water bill and my sewage bill this past month was like 90 and 50 versus
57.29 and
like
91.02.
37 and 17. And I'm just
Okay.
curious to why.
have you had anybody come and check out to see if there's a leak in the home?
No, but the one after that is
Oh
back
yeah,
to normal.
May
so
is
I don't-
35.
That's
So
why I don't get it.
Okay. I'll ask them for, it looks like it was just for April.
Yeah, because that's another like.
Just for April.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was just for April. Water was 9102, sewer was 5729.
That's like extra $90 right there.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna turn it out. You pay the 500. Let's see what they say about that.
How do I have to pay?
Just a cashier's check or money order. You can drop it off the office.
What if I can't get the cash out of the bank in time?
Today.
Or 5 o'clock?
Oh, then just pay it on
If you
Monday.
pay it Monday.
Yeah,
You're good.
Okay.
that's
All
fine.
right.
I actually think their office might be closed because of the holiday.
Okay.
So just pay it on Monday.
So
Yeah, that's
do
fine.
it. Do
Yep.
it.
As long as you pay it
Yeah,
prior to next Friday, you're good.
Yeah.
I can put it in the box again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You got it?
Absolutely.
All right.
3 o'clock next
Do me a favor. Take care of your wife. Relax about this. We'll work through it. Got it?
Thank you. And can I get the Zoom? Do I go up front to get the Zoom?
We'll
She
give
has a form.
you a form here. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Arbor Woods versus Tamika Mason.
Oh, you just fill it out and then.
Oh,
Just fill it out and turn it in up there.
I'm sorry.
You can fill it out and turn it in up front.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Brandon Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Tamika Mason and Jimmy Mason.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm
What-
Tamika Mason.
Your name?
Jimmy Mason.
All right. See, I appreciate what they did. She came up, gave her name. He didn't like barge up here, try to give them both names. All right. Okay, where are we on this?
So Mrs. Mason and I actually had an opportunity to speak really quick before the hearing. She dropped off a payment, or maybe Mr. Mason, which one of you dropped it off? But a $1,300 payment was dropped off on 4/15. She said she's gonna make another payment today and the balance will be paid on Monday. So do you wanna adjourn it
So-
over 1 week?
Yeah, so she made the one payment on the 15th. There's another payment coming in
Today.
today. And then there'll be a small balance that they're gonna clear up that following week.
Yes.
Got it. So let me put it out a week to April 25th, 2025 at 3 PM. Let's make sure all those payments are in, and we'll figure out what to do with that balance. Does that work, folks?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great weekend.
All right, you too.
Arbor Woods versus April Tubbs Streeter.
Brandon Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Hello, what's your name?
What's up, Streeter?
You want to yell at me? No? Okay, good. All right. And I'll give you the case. All right, where I had 1175.25,
25. Same.
same balance.
I don't even know what's going on here.
Pardon?
I don't even know what's going on here.
What do you mean?
I got this to come to court a little over a week ago.
Okay.
I had talked with Jen and another young lady. Jen is not the easiest to speak to.
Got somebody in the office?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess she's, I don't know if she's a manager, but however, I've told her before, I'm not the type that like to just sit and just, just keep this going on. What can we do to move forward? One of the things that I know is the lease. Now, Elise, my daughter has special needs. To shorten the story up, they sent one to her email. I asked them not to do that, to send it to me. However, I signed my portion of the lease. Elise did not sign her portion of the lease, as far as we know. We can't get into her email because it's full or something like that on her phone. I'm not very computer savvy, so with that being said, I asked them if they could send it to my phone. So with that being said, can we just have the email sent to me? What can we do? Because I don't feel like that I should be responsible, because I've been trying to get the lease since last year in September, but somebody had left. Jacob that was there. So we didn't have anybody in the rental office for a few months. So with that being said, that's the problem that I'm having with that. I don't know why I'm here, because I have their money.
You haven't?
Yeah. So I don't know why I'm here, except for the part with when me having to pay lease month by month.
Month-to-month lease.
I shouldn't have to be responsible for that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I got you.
So a couple things. It looks like for the month of February, there were no payments received. The next payment was received in March. So it looks like it's about 1 month behind plus the court fees.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure if she did drop off a money order or paid online about that. The second thing is I spoke to my client about the lease issue. The lease is generated through DocuSign and then it's sent to the email. And then if it doesn't get signed within like a period of time, it automatically cancels. So that was the issue. And they checked yesterday in the DocuSign and it was still in Elisa's email. So, but it sounds like she can't access that.
And I
Right,
she has
so-
special needs, so I have to ask
Right,
them.
so she's been,
No.
hang on,
Yeah.
I got you. Can we, is there a way to get it sent to Ms. Tubb Streeter's email?
That's what I'm gonna ask my client, if they can go into DocuSign and put her email in and have
And
Elisa's
have it
portion go
sent.
there. Yeah,
Right, and then that way
right.
that can get done. All right, and then in terms of the payment, you have a,
Yeah, I'm not showing record of a payment received for February.
I don't know why you don't, that doesn't make sense. How am I just, I only need to pay for April.
pardon,
I only need to pay for April.
for April?
Yes.
Okay, how much is your monthly rent?
I don't know how much it is because it's supposed to be
What do
the,
you have her monthly?
$677 for base rent. And then there's the month, this $37 month premium plus water sewer, which fluctuates each month based on usage.
which I have received something for $400 and something, and they said they were gonna fix that, but I haven't received anything.
Is that
yet.
for April 1st?
Yeah,
Okay, the sewer for 167.37 and the water for 248.65.
no, it was a total of four something. I don't. have
Oh,
it.
yeah, combined about 400.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
so
over
you got,
400.
did you get like an invoice in the mail or like a
No,
stub
she
or
said
something?
that they were gonna adjust it, but I haven't got anything.
Okay.
sent that
Was that
adjusted.
Jen or Dana that you talked to?
It's a
or
young lady,
Imani?
some young lady.
Amani, maybe?
Yeah,
Okay,
because it wasn't Jen.
all right.
Okay, so there might be about a $400 adjustment or something?
For the April water sewer, it looks like. Yeah.
Okay, so then if that were the case, we're at about the 700,
About 1 month rent. Yeah.
about 1 month's rent.
Yeah.
When can that be paid?
I could pay about Monday.
Okay, so how much, let's do it this way so that I'm clear. How much can you pay on Monday? Do you know the dollar amount?
What is it's 7 what?
Well, it's 677 just for the base rent.
Right, and then I gotta add the water.
37. So
I
if
don't
you want to
know,
just drop
then-
off a payment for the just 677.
I can do that.
You can do that on Monday? All right.
All right.
So I'm gonna put here 677. Hopefully then they can deal with what may be a credit to the account.
I'll talk to them about the water sewer bill and then the DocuSign and see if
Right.
we could go into DocuSign and
Send it over to
Yeah,
me.
have it back,
Okay.
yeah.
That'll
Was
be
Elise ever on a lease agreement? Did she sign?
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Okay,
we did
okay,
when we
okay, good.
first started,
Okay.
but I don't even know, I
Just
don't know
checking.
how it happened to,
So then
go to
she's
her
on-
because
yeah.
it didn't at first. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything was coming to me.
So then automatically for your renewals, it'll go to her too. So that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'll adjourn this out 1 week, 25th at 3 PM. Get the 677 paid.
It'll be there.
Let's see if the credit goes through, get the lease thing in, and then we can see if we can get it all resolved. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Judge.
You know, she did start for a minute to yell at me. Did you notice that? Did you notice that? Like I said, I'm sensitive. Nobody's listening. You do the same, ma'am. Court does call the case of Northville Crossing versus Barbara Vargo.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Hello.
Hello. What's your name?
Barbara Vargo.
Michael Bargo.
Yes. How are you guys doing?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see you. All right, where are we? We're at 1974.
Yep, 1974, 34. We were here last week in front of Judge Barr. Ms. Vargo and her husband appeared last week. She reached out to the VA for assistance. I know that she had stated that her husband is currently on SSI and she also started new employment.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
Well, I'm not gonna be much help. I'm gonna assist here. I did reach out to Hawk and they directed me in a lot of directions to find help. So I called a lot of phone numbers and that, and I made some headway.
Here, I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I can't
He
talk.
had a, I don't know if you remember us.
No,
But I know you see a lot of people. So in October of last year, he had a stroke.
I remember.
And so anyways, he got a hold of the Housing Bureau for Seniors. So they're going to be working with the VA and
Got it.
myself.
And they also said they sent over some kind of
Yeah.
stay of execution. For at least 2 weeks. Till we can figure out the.
I see what you said. They sent over the rental assistance form.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the DC 539? Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I couldn't print it
just-
off. We were out of ink in our printer.
The stay of execution.
I was a little confused by that.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's okay.
That's
You-
what she sort of said over the
You
phone.
know, I get it. Okay, so they're gonna be working, because as I recall, and you'll have to correct me, he's a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
You're the veteran, that's right. You're the veteran, and they were trying to get assistance through the VA.
They're gonna work with me in the VA since the VA helped us out not even a year ago, just up to December of last year. So, but the VA said there is a trust, they might be able to help. Plus, I've gotten a job now. He's getting his social security.
Security, right, because that wasn't where we were the last time.
Right, so, but I just started the job, the beginning of this month. I was looking for something in my profession in IT. It wasn't coming through, so then I got a job as a cashier at Myers. And it's doing great. So,
In life, you do what you gotta do.
right.
Okay, so when, do you know when there might be an answer from the VA or?
The VA just sent me, what they, everything they want, which we've worked together before, so I already have it together. So Monday, because they're not open today, I was going to be going to that office with, I've got everything.
You
and
got everything?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this then. Let me adjourn it out a week to the 25th at 3 p.m. Let's see where you are on that end, because usually they'll take care of the veterans. So we'll see if that can get it done. Okay?
Okay. All right, thank you. It was nice to see you again.
Yeah, good.
You're on.
You know what? Thank you for saying that. It is a blessing seeing you two again. You are looking well.
I'm
Sir.
getting better.
Huh?
I'm getting better.
You're getting better. Okay.
Walk better and talk better.
Yeah, well, when you came up, I was actually gonna say that because the last time, well, not the last time, but you weren't really saying a whole lot regarding anything. So when you took off to start talking about it, she stopped you like a wife should. But she stopped you, but you weren't doing that the last time. And so it was good to see that you had the confidence to even do that. So I appreciate it. All right, you guys take care of each other and have a blessed weekend.
God bless you.
Valley Ranch versus Brandon Kuchar.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
And Caroline.
Carolyn Mino is not present. Brandon Coutras, thank you.
Yeah, I remember. Make that very clear. All right.
Mr. Kutcher has submitted payment through MoneyGram. I just have to confirm with my client it's been received.
Both pallets and Valley Ranch were closed today.
Yeah.
So there was no one to confirm my payment.
Okay.
When he called, I got the voicemail from my,
So
yeah.
basically indicate he's paid the full amount.
Yes, I just need to
Okay.
confirm.
So let's do this. Let me put it out a week, 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Check with them. If it's paid, you don't need to be here. They're going to dismiss it out anyway.
So much. Your Honor.
Thank you. You do the same. Court calls the case of Whitaker Oaks versus Marjani Green.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
And there's another person. Daniel Keenan. Yes, ma'am. All right, where are we on this?
Looks like we were here last on 4/4. The defendant had applied for, or had an appointment with Hawk on 4/16.
Right. How did that?
I spoke to them. They said that they would cover it. However, when I reached out to my landlord, they told me that they put in for a 30-day notice. So that conflicts with Hawk paying my balance. So they said that if they were willing to extend it, then okay, but otherwise they would do relocation.
You know anything about the 30-day?
I don't. I'm just looking at the ledger. It does look like she was being charged a month-to-month premium.
Yeah.
So she was potentially sent a non-renewal notice, but I don't have any information with me on that. So
All right. But basically your indication from Hawk was that they would help you, but with the 30-day, they can't.
Basically, yes.
All right.
Or they would use it as relocation assistance rather than sending it directly to the landlord.
Right.
Yeah. So they would, yeah.
All right. So let me put it out 1 week. Let's figure out exactly where you are, where you're gonna head with this. And then
Okay.
figure out what we're gonna do, okay? 4/25, 2025, 3 p.m.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Judge.
Take care. Good weekend. Court calls the case of Whitaker Oaks versus Kristen Davis.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Kristen Davis, no response. Go ahead. I don't need you sworn.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. In light of the defendant's failure to appear, I request entry of a default possessionally judgment. Rent to retain $2,261.16, cost of $200 for a total of $2461.16 with a writ to issue after April 28th.
Judgment to the plaintiff. That is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested with a writ to issue 10 days. I think that's it for you, Ms.
Wow.
All right.
That's it.
Not too bad.
No, not too bad, Judge.
All right.
Have a nice weekend. Enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it sunny out still?
It was.
All right. Case of Hamilton Crossing versus Tiffany Roots. Oh, what's your name? All right, where are we with her case?
Your Honor, I have a balance including court costs of $936.
936. Okay.
What was the additional cost? I have a receipt saying 660. What was the additional cost?
Did they not include court costs?
I don't think they included court costs.
That's what it sounds like to me.
That was added on the 18th.
Every time.
Okay, don't, just don't.
Okay, so I had an approval from DHHS to pay the 640 that was
Right.
owed. But when they went to pay it, the paperwork said a much higher amount because I had been paying it down. So they had me to withdraw the application. They want me to come back when I have a document saying that I owe the correct amount that I owe, because they said they cannot pay it if it says a different amount on the documentation. The original documentation said 2,400. I paid it all the way down until all the way down to $640, which is the amount that they would cover. So because I couldn't get that from the leasing office in time, they told me to just simply withdraw so they didn't have to deny it again. So that's where I'm at with that. The worker told me to get another document with the correct amount, submit it, and they would try to have it paid within 7 days. So the only amount is owed is just simply what they would pay off in court costs.
But, okay, but if you go there, you have 3 people in your house?
Yes.
Okay, so, but if you go there with a document of 936, are they gonna deny it?
No, I'll pay off the court costs, whatever.
Oh, okay, you'll pay the difference.
Yes, I'll pay the difference. I could pay that today. I just need whatever the document is they said that I have to have a document saying if I don't pay this amount, I'll be even. And it has to be the correct amount because the amount was incorrect. Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Okay. So how do we want to do this and where does she get the document?
Your Honor, I can give Ms. Roots my email address, and so she can copy me on the email, and then I can
Try to work that through. Because I know she got it down to that, because she was working to get it down to 620 or 640, whatever.
I
And
think you were including the court costs here in court, but not.
not on the. Okay, so Ms. Roots, here's what we'll do. Let me adjourn this out a week to the 25th at noon.
Okay.
Now, have you withdrawn it already or?
Yes, I withdrawn the application. They told me if I didn't withdraw, they would deny it. So I just.
Got it. Okay, that's right. So if you can get that, pay that other amount, they'll pay it, and then.
I'll be clear.
Right.
Do they need a ledger showing once the balance is down, or
No.
this saying that it's $936?
No, I've turned in a ledger already. They need a court ordered document That's what they said. I need something from the court. And if I don't pay this amount, I will be, it has to say I'll be
No,
evicted.
they can't do that to you. That's just, I'm just, no, I
don't
know,
know
I know
what
what
to
they
do.
told you, but that's wrong.
Okay.
You don't, because the only court order document that I'd issue would be a judgment saying that amount.
Okay, but do you issue something from the courts that will show the correct amount? Whatever it is?
I don't.
Because I've turned,
I could offer to do a consent judgment that would be set aside if paid in full, and it would be, that there would be no route without a hearing.
No, I know, and I just hate, I hate.
Reward their bad.
Yeah, I just don't, they're giving people wrong information, and I don't.
it's a hassle because I have to continuously take off work. It's just a hassle, but if they're gonna pay it, then I'll,
No, I got you. I got you. But you don't, but I can't, the problem is that if she goes over there, if I do that today and she goes over there with the 936, I don't want them saying
Oh.
that's not the amount.
Right.
I wonder, Your Honor, if.
Let me ask you this,
What if I
ma'am.
could get my client to agree to a conditional order of dismissal? With terms saying that, Ms. Roots would pay this much.
You're right. Ms. Roots, let me ask you this. The court costs, you have that with you now or no?
Yes,
Is it cash?
no, I can get cash.
Okay, but we're closed at some point, because what I was gonna do is I was gonna have her pay that into escrow, issue the judgment for the 620. I'd have the escrow.
How much time do I have before you close?
Well, we won't be able to get it processed at 4:30. We'd have to have it processed by. Let's do this. Pay everything but that amount. Prepare the judgment for this. I have 620, but you say it's 640?
No, the receipt says 660.
Is that what they said they pay?
They pay 640.
So-
640.
Your Honor, I have. Okay, let me look.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Give me a judgment for you said 640?
Yeah.
Give me a judgment that just says 640. I'm not gonna sign that well, no, I'll sign it. If I sign it now without having that other amount.
Your Honor, can I put under further orders defendant to pay whatever into court escrow?
Yeah, why don't we do this? Yeah, why don't we do it that way? So Ms. Root, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a consent judgment that they'll set aside. If something happens, whatever, you won't be evicted. They have to come back before me before anything like that's gonna happen, okay?
Okay.
Under further orders, she's gonna put that the defendant is to deposit court cost in the court escrow.
Your Honor, it is slightly more than court costs, just,
It is.
it's about $120.
See, what is that for? What's the additional cost?
So, okay, so I mean, we can look at the ledger if we want to, take that time. I have that. Let me just pull up the last.
936, they were gonna pay. So I got about 300.
Last hearing, I have a balance of $2,081.11.
Correct.
Okay. It shows, that's because it would have included court. 1905. Okay, yep, so that would have been 1905 plus court costs. Then I see there was a $500 payment made and a $645 payment.
Correct.
So taking those off from that 1905, that leaves $760. Plus court cost is $936.
I have a receipt that shows $660. If you give me a second, I'll show you. They did something wrong. Something is there. Okay, we can work that out later. I just want to.
Okay, let's do this.
can adjourn it one more week, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can adjourn it a week, but the problem is,
Your Honor, we could always submit a consent judgment to the court in the meantime. The court has heard the terms would be the
Yeah.
same, and then there would still be no, without a hearing, it would still be set aside once paid in full, and it would be, we could even do probably 2 weeks from the date.
I have 1 week, and because of judicial conferences, I have
On the judgment instead of.
Got it.
10 days. That would be 2 weeks to give.
to give time for everything to happen. Okay.
And so why don't we do that? Here's my email address. Let me.
And you just want me to put it out a week? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put this out a week. You guys can work on a consent judgment, look at what that is. You'll be able to get the paperwork to allow you to do what you need to do with DHS. All right?
Okay.
The check will be that I have this, but if you need to appear via Zoom, then you can appear via Zoom. I don't want you taking up any more work or anything like that. And let's see if we can get DHS to pay my monthly meeting that I have with them. I think on the 7th, I'm gonna yell at them again about telling folks this.
Yeah.
That's what's worth it.
I don't understand why they need to just approve it and allow me to pay the difference, whatever the difference is, you know? I think it was only like a $20 difference, you know?
No,
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir, and I know you've worked hard to get this down.
Okay.
And there's a copy of what the judgment would be, just look it over.
Okay, so I can submit this, right?
No,
No?
there has to be somebody to judge it.
Oh,
And this isn't actually what we're agreeing on. You see, I haven't signed it, but this
Okay.
is just so you can see the terms. Once you get that, once you paid from 936 down to the 640, let me know. I'll get a letter from my client just to confirm. We'll submit a judgment for $640.
And then you'll be able to get that judgment, and then you'll be all set.
Yeah.
Sure, have a great weekend. New Park Ridge Apartments versus Treasurer Wallace Douglas. That better be you, because I got one file. Your name?
Treasurer Wallace Douglas.
All right. And where are we with her case?
Your Honor,
This is her motion to set aside.
I have an amount remaining on the judgment of $811, but I don't know if that, I think that would not include any amounts, if there were any amounts paid to escrow.
There is not.
She did not. You have how much owing on the judgment? 8?
I have 811 remaining on the judgment. I do have a current balance of $1,489. And Your Honor, looking at the judgment, I don't see where there was good cause for meritorious defect.
Yes. All right. All right. What do you want to tell me? You're looking to set aside the judgment.
Yes, so I just was a little mixed up when Hawk assisted me via our phone conversation, the phone conversation that I had with the worker. I was under the assumption that she was going to pay the past balance as well as March. And I did miss my you adjourned it. It was my first court date was the 28th of February. And I missed, you adjourned it to March 7th. I missed that court date, just assuming that it was going to be paid and I had to work. So I did go to work that day. And then I actually ended up calling legal aid, trying to get some information on how to put my rent in escrow, because there's a lot of things that need to be done with my apartment that they're not doing. So when I finally did, she's the one that told me that an eviction was put in. So I was just advised to do that, the stay. And here we
Okay,
are.
so she owes how much on the judgment?
$811.
And I did go and give them a money order for $669, but they told me to come and pick it up. They emailed me and told me that they don't take money from people who are in eviction status.
Okay.
The rental office that I have an email that states that. So just was confusing as to why if I'm in
So-
eviction, why you don't want my money?
Yeah. So you took them a money order for $669.
Sir?
They didn't take it.
They took it, they weren't there. So I put it in a Dropbox and then I got an email stating to come pick it up because.
Did you pick it up?
Do you mind if I get my phone so I can just get the dates for? Okay.
I know that there was a miscommunication with our client, Your Honor, and we since straightened that out, I believe. So I just want to check.
You mean in terms of taking
Accepting
payment?
Oh. Okay, give me 1 second.
But I would be interested in knowing if that's.
That was April 9th.
So April 9th, you put it in the Dropbox with the 8th or something like that?
What date was the 9th?
The 9th was a Wednesday.
So I think I put it in on that Monday.
So you put it in on the 7th, then you get an email on the 9th saying they won't take your money.
Yes.
And she would be so let me ask you this, if they take your 669 and your 811 from the judgment, how are you gonna get the rest of this paid off?
So what is the total that I owe? Because like I said, I didn't know anything.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just kind of confused.
So what was the total amount?
$1,489.
That's what you owe right now.
Okay.
There would be about $142 left on the judgment.
After the 669.
Oh, I can
So-
get it. I mean, like, I do work, but I work for Michigan Athletics, so it's like a slow season, but I work, so I can get that $100 to them the same time I give them the 669.
Okay.
Maybe
So what was it? Okay, let's do it this way. What was the total amount on judgment?
Total amount was $1,817.
Right, but the total amount left owing, I'm sorry.
Sorry, 811.
All right. So, ma'am, here's what I need you to do. With the 669 and other funds, you need to get $811 to the landlord next week.
Okay.
Okay, on Monday.
Yes, sir.
All right. So get that to them on Monday. What is that? The 21st? All right, get that to them on the 21st. I'm going to adjourn this out to the 25th.
I also had here in this email, she says that I owe $14.81. So they don't communicate and it's really hard to know what's going on.
Okay. All right. There's been late fees applied. All right,
Okay.
but I hear you. Okay, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work it through piece by piece at this point. So what I'm gonna adjourn this to April 25th, 2025 at noon. You pay the 811. Come back next Friday. Let's figure out how we're gonna try to get the rest of this done. Okay? But for you right now, I need you to pay the 811. And Amy has arisen. I haven't heard from her all day.
Your Honor, I just want to verify that the 1,006 was received and applied to her account.
Yes, I have it. I see that $1,006 was applied. Is that from Hawk? Yeah, that was applied on March 11th.
Got it.
Your Honor, I would just ask if the plaintiff could reserve the right to amend.
Yes, to amend the judgment. And that's why I say, let's get this part taken care of. And then there might be an amended judgment that's going to include basically your April rent. Or if we click into May, it may include that, but we'll work those numbers out. Let's just get this taken care of.
Sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. Also, I may have to work next Friday. So,
She wants to appear via Zoom.
Please.
No, So she got a name Treasure. I'm gonna make her come down. No, all right. I'll tell you what, I'll let you fill out a Zoom form.
Thank you. And if I don't have to work, I can come in, but
Okay,
She
all right,
does it.
but I got you. I understand. All right, will that work for you?
it works. I appreciate
All
it.
right, not a problem. You have a great weekend.
Thank you.